Good day, everyone. I'm Elise. Today, I will be presenting of our research project, which focuses on the background, problem statement, research objective, research question, scope, and rationale, as well as the significance of the study. Our research title is Social Media Influencer and Their Impact on Brand Reputation and Public Trust, a qualitative study from a public relation perspective. To begin with, social media has changed the way organizations communicate with the public. In the past, brands mainly relied on traditional advertising, but today, influencer marketing has become an important communication strategy. Social media influencers on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook are able to communicate brand message in a more personal, relatable, and engaging way. From a public relation perspective, influencers are not only used to promote products, but they also play a role in shaping public perception, brand reputation, and customer trust and consumer trust. However, this also creates a problem. Although influencer marketing can increase brand awareness and engagement, it does not always lead to positive outcomes. Some influencer partnership may raise concern about hidden sponsorships, misleading content, and lack of transparency. When an influencer is involved in controversy, the negative impact may not affect the influencer, but also the brand they represent. This creates a challenge for public relation practitioners because brand reputation can be damaged very quickly on social media. Therefore, this study aims to address two main research objectives. The first research objective is to analyze the effect of influencer marketing communication on brand reputation. The second objective is to evaluate the impact of social media influencer credibility on public trust towards a brand. Based on this objective, our study is guided by two research questions. First, how does influencer marketing communication affect the reputation of brands among consumers? Second, to what extent does the credibility of social media influencer contribute to public trust in a brand? This question helps us understand how influencer communication shapes consumer perception from a public relation point of view. For the scope of this study, we focus on consumer age 18 and above who actively use social media and are exposed to influencer-generated content. The study focuses mainly on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. It also focuses on consumer perception rather than sales performance or financial outcomes. The rationale of this study is that influencer marketing is becoming more widely used by organizations, but they are still concerned about authenticity, transparency, and ethical communication. Therefore, it is important to understand how influencer credibility can influence brand reputation and public trust. Lastly, this study is significant because it contributes to the understanding of digital public relations and influencer communication. It may help public relation practitioners and organizations select suitable influencer, manage reputation risk, and build stronger public trust through more ethical and effective communication strategies. Thank you.
Okay, the literature generally points in two directions. On the positive side, when influences are seen as credible, authentic, and relatable, this strengthens customers' trust. These qualities helps build emotional connections, known as parasocial relationship, which makes customers more open to influences recommendation. But there is also negative side. Hidden sponsorship, misleading endorsement, fake followers, and influence scandals can seriously damage brand reputation. Once customers feel deceived, trust breaks down quickly, and the damage spills over the brand they work with. In short, credibility and authenticity build trust, while deceptions and controversy destroy it. Next is part two. A theoretic foundation. To understand these patterns, the studies draw on two main series. The first is source credibility series, developed by Howland and Wesses. It suggests that the people are more easily persuaded by someone they see as knowledgeable and trustworthy. When an influence show expertise and come across as an honest, their recommendations carry more weight. The second is parasocial relationship theory, introduced by Horton and Wells. It describes one-sided emotion bonds that audience form with media personalities, even without a real friendship. Followers feel like they know the influence personally, which makes recommendations more persuasive.
I'm going to dive a little deeper into our research gap as well as conceptual framework. While the literature provides a strong foundation, the important gaps remain. Most studies focus on short-term marketing outcomes like brand awareness and purchase intention. But a few examine the long-term effects on brand reputation and sustained public trust. Many rely on quantitative methods, leaving limited qualitative insights into how consumers actually perceive influencer authenticity and brand alignment. There are also clear geographical and cultural gaps, which is like most research are based on Western-centric research, while Asian consumer expectations and cultural reliability may differ significantly. Finally, although parasocial relationships are powerful, their specific long-term impact on brand reputation in our context is underexplored. These gaps led us to develop our conceptual framework, which forms the backbone of our study. Now you can see our conceptual framework. At the center is our independent variable, which is social media influencer communication. This includes influencer marketing efforts, credibility, such as trustworthiness, expertise, and authenticity, and also parasocial relationships with emotional connections and engagement and transparency of sponsored content. These factors are expected to positively influence our two dependent variables, which is brand reputation and public trust. We also account for moderating variables such as influencer controversies, misleading endorsement, fake followers, and ethical misconduct as well. Factors that can quickly weaken or reverse the positive effects. This framework is grounded in source credibility theory and parasocial relationship theory. It provides a clear structure to explore how influencers shape consumer perceptions and offer practical guidance for PR professionals in digital environment. Thank you. Now I'll pass on to the methodology section.
This study uses an interpret-based research philosophy and a construct-based research paradigm. The aim is to understand consumers' different perspectives and experience with social media influencer marketing from their point of view. This study uses qualitative exploratory research design. This approach helps us better understand the consumer's experience and opinion about influencer marketing and how this experience affects brand reputation and public trust. For participant selection, progressive sampling was used to recruit 6 to 10 active social media users aged 18 and above who have experience following social media influencers and see influencer marketing. They also need to use social media platforms regularly and make sure they had enough experience related to the research topic. Data were collected through semi-structured interviews, which allowed participants to freely share their experience and opinions. The interview data were then analyzed using semantic analysis and to identify the main themes and common ideas.
Before each interview, participants will receive information about the study and give their informed consent. The interviews will last about 30 to 45 minutes and will be conducted either face-to-face or online. With participants' permission, all interviews will be recorded and later transcribed or phone analyzed. After collecting the data, we will use the semantic analysis. First, we will read the interview transcripts carefully, then create calls, group similar ideas into themes, review the themes, and finally write the research finding. AI tools will only be used to assess with the initial coding, while all results will be carefully checked by the researcher. Finally, to ensure the quality of the research, we will follow ethical participate and maintain stability, dependability, transferability, and conformability. Participants' privacy will be protected and all data will be used only for academic purposes. Our finding. The first theme is authenticity as the base of trust. Our interviews show that participants trust influencers who are honest, natural, and relatable. They prefer influencers who share both positive and negative experience instead of only promoting products. Many participants also say that sharing both real daily life and being consistent are more important than having many followers. This shows that authenticity is the key factor to building consumer trust. The second theme is commercialization and privacy tension. transparency tension. Most participants said they accept sponsored content because they understand that influencers need to earn money. However, they expect the influencer to clearly disclose paid partnership and give honest review based on real experience. Hidden advertisement, fake recommendation, and overly commercial content reduce the trust in both the influencer and the brand.
Okay, let me talk about our last two things, then give a quick summary and some advice. So thing 3 is that reputation goes both ways between influencers and the brands. So if an influencer is honest and likable, that helps the brand. But if the influencer does something bad, the brand also gets hurt. And people told us they would blame the brand for choosing a better influencer. So the brands are not just playing for us, they are showing their own good name with the influencer and can be risky. So thing 4 is that influencer marketing mostly works for a short time, and it gets people to notice a product and try it. But for people to keep in buying, it really depends on the product itself, and people do not just trust the influencers blindly, and they read the reviews, compare the opinions, and check other sources before they decide. So influencers get people in the door, but the product has to be good to keep them. So now to sum up, the trust comes from the being real and honest, and people accept the kind of promotions, but they want clear disclosure. And the influencer relationships can bring risks to brands, and the influencer effects do not last long. Real loyalty comes from the good products. So our practical advice is picky influencers who share your brand values and not just the most popular ones, and always clearly say when Connect is sponsored. So the watch what influencers do and have a plan ready if something goes wrong, and build long-term partnerships that really fit your brand and not just one-time promotion.
Okay, let me do the conclusion. To conclude, our finding confirms that influences, credibility, and authenticity are key to build public trust. However, deceptive practices and controversies can quickly damage both brand reputation and customers' confidence. So what is the recommendation? We recommended that the brand prioritize credibility over followers count when selecting influencers. They should ensure full transparency in sponsor content and have crisis communication plans already. Building long-term relationship with reliable influencers is more effective than short-term campaigns. Okay, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.